Karina, how are you doing? I just wanted to check in with you and see how you're doing. You must be drained after Brandon's funeral. I can't even imagine how it'll be for you when he suddenly passed away in a traffic accident. No one could see it coming, and it must have been very difficult for you. Oh, it's so shocking that someone who left for work in the morning feeling fine can come back a few hours later as a dead person. It's such a surreal and heartbreaking experience. I can't even begin to fathom the extent of your pain and despair from losing a spouse overnight.
Hi, Jason. Thank you for showing empathy. It means a lot to me.
However, I need to tell you something that can't be hidden forever. I know it must be a huge shock to hear this since he never mentioned it before, but I'll just say it straight out.
What do you mean?
The truth is, he had a daughter that he kept hidden from you. He never told you about it because he didn't have the guts to tell you, but he confided in me. He always felt guilty for not being able to father his child, and it caused him a lot of pain.
What kind of nonsense are you talking about? Are you telling me that my husband secretly met another woman and had a child outside of the marriage? And now you want me to believe that? We've been together for 18 years, and our daughters are high school students. He was always honest with me and our daughters, and he was the best father who always did his best for his family. I know for a fact that he would never betray me or our children. You also know very well that he was not the kind of person who would have an affair with another woman and have a child.
I know very well about his wonderful character better than anyone else as his younger brother. I'm absolutely certain that he would never betray you. I also know that he was someone who was faithful and dedicated to you and your children more than anyone else. He was always gentle and never had an argument with you during your 18 years of marriage. However, he couldn't shake off the guilty feeling he had towards the daughter he had 25 years ago.
What did you say? A child he had 25 years ago. That was long before he married me.
That's right. He had a daughter long before he married you with a woman he dated during his college days. Despite his young age, he worked very hard to support the child by having multiple part-time jobs and sleeping only 4 hours a day. But the mother of the child felt that she couldn't stay with him because he was poor, so she ended up marrying a wealthy widower when the child was not even a year old. The child told me that her mother also broke up with the widower not too long after. He tried several times to win her heart back, but he eventually gave up and decided to move on with his life because the mother of the child begged him to leave them if he really loved them. He ended up leaving his past behind by marrying you and starting a new family with you.
I just can't believe it. I've never heard anything like that from him all the time we've been together. And I've never even had a feeling that he might have a child outside of the marriage. He's the person who celebrated the birth of each of our daughters without any dark expression. And he always said being the best husband and father was his goal. He's not the kind of person who would keep such a secret from me and our daughters.
I understand that your heart doesn't want to believe anything I say. However, unfortunately, that's the truth, and the reality is reality. When I heard the news of his passing, I thought I had to tell the truth to his daughter, and as his daughter, she should also send him off on his final moments. She also attended the funeral. Don't you remember? I introduced her as my niece to you.
I didn't really think much and just assumed she must be someone you know well at the time. I didn't have the presence of mind or the composure to think about anything else.
I totally understand. However, while I'm very sorry to say this to you, she also has the right to inherit Brandon's property as his daughter, and she also wants to inherit the property. Even though they haven't met for 25 years, it's an undeniable fact that she's Brandon's daughter. Perhaps she didn't even know about his existence.
No way! Do you really think I should give inheritance rights to that child who suddenly appeared and claimed to be my husband's daughter? It's already strange enough that she showed up out of the blue and said she's his daughter. But now you're saying she deserves inheritance rights and wants his money when he never mentioned anything about her during his lifetime, and we have 2 daughters together from our marriage.
He probably left behind a huge fortune from his business during his lifetime. I heard that his profit for the last quarter was about 200 grand. So it would be appropriate to divide the property equally among his 3 biological children. And I believe that's what he wants to do, even though he never mentioned it to you all this time.
Jason, did I offend you in any way? I supported you financially without ever asking for repayment every time you complained about the difficulty of raising 3 kids while having a mediocre job. I thought I did enough for you, but now you're saying such cruel things to me after losing my husband so unexpectedly and becoming a widow? Is there something I did wrong?
If you call it cruel to reveal a secret that he's kept hidden his whole life with a sense of responsibility, then I have nothing to say. It can be jarring to suddenly discover something like this after so many years, especially when it involves inheritance rights. However, from my perspective, that child and the 2 daughters you gave birth to are all my nieces, and I don't want any of them to be hurt in any way. Oh, please don't take my words as offensive, as that's not my intention. Rather, I'm hoping that you can think about this situation in a positive direction. I know that this is a difficult situation, but I believe it's important to approach it with an open mind and a willingness to find a fair and reasonable solution for all parties involved. It's worth noting that she's willing to seek her right to inheritance using the power of the law. While this may seem like a drastic measure, it's important to remember that she has a legal right to her father's estate, regardless of whether or not he ever mentioned her during his lifetime. In light of this, I suggest that you calmly settle this matter to prevent any rumors or negative comments from spreading that would tarnish the deceased's reputation. After all, he may have had his reasons for not mentioning about his daughter. We don't want to make assumptions or jump to conclusions without all the facts when he can't speak for himself. I believe that with patience and understanding, you may find a way to resolve the situation in a manner that respects everyone's rights and honors the memory of the deceased.
I understand your words well, but I need a few days to think about it. I also need to discuss it with my children, and I need time to sort out my thoughts. Let me figure out how I should talk to them.
Sure, I'll pass the message to her and wait a few more days and hope that you will make a wise decision. Thank you, Karina. Hey, Karina, did you think carefully about what I said to you last time?
Hi, Jason. And what are you talking about?
It was about giving away Brandon's property to his daughter. She's still his daughter even though she wasn't accepted as his daughter. From what I've observed, you're a wise person with a warm and kind heart who always makes the best decisions, and I believe that you'll make the right choice again, far from any jealousy or other negative emotions. How much do you plan to give to her? She contacted me and she said she can't wait any longer.
Well, I don't know yet. I haven't come up with any plan yet. It would be a different story if that child is my husband's biological daughter for sure. But honestly, there's no evidence that she's Brandon's daughter, is there? Did you think I'd fall for such an obvious fraud like that? Did you think I was a fool to believe something so absurd?
What more evidence do you need when he directly told me about it? We can't even perform a paternity test on the child because he's dead already. Even my parents never mentioned anything to you for a long time, and I stepped up and told you all about it with a sense of responsibility. Shouldn't you be grateful instead of denying it? Don't you know that you're only hurting Brandon by denying so hard about it?
For what should I be grateful to you? Didn't you know that nowadays the world has become so advanced that you can perform a paternity test even with a deceased person if you have the willingness to do so? If you provide me with that girl's hair, I can take responsibility for conducting the test.
What does that mean? How in the world can you perform a test when he's dead and cremated already?
Because it was so sad that the person I love had to turn into a handful of ashes. I kept a couple of his hairs as a memento. I never imagined it would be used for something like this. My husband is ready, so bring me the hair of my husband's daughter that you claim. I'll verify whether what you're saying is true or not. We should hurry to request the test as soon as possible, even for a day, so she can inherit the property quickly, right? If it's hard for you to ask her for her hair, I'll get it for you. Give me her number, I'll reach out to her.
Well, I think that's impossible. She wouldn't want that. She grew up without a father, so she has a strong sense of self-esteem and dislikes being doubted. I'll try talk to her, but I don't think that she'll easily concede. I'll give it a try and talk to her.
How about we stop it right here?
I beg your pardon? What do you mean stop?
Do you pretend not to know what I'm talking about, even though you know it better than anyone else? I know that woman who claimed to be Brandon's daughter that you brought to his funeral was actually your mistress. She pretended to be his daughter to scam money out of me, but it was so obvious from the beginning that it was a lie. I knew from the beginning that you were a worthless person, but I never imagined you were this despicable. If you needed money, you should have just begged for it instead of insulting your brother who already passed away and humiliating us when we lost our husband and father so unexpectedly. Don't you feel sorry for me, who just became a widow, and my daughters who've been hurt by your absurd lies? Don't you feel sorry for your own brother who took such good care of you while he was alive? He deserved better than to be treated like a pawn in your twisted game. You may think that you can get away with this, but I will not rest until justice is served. You have caused us so much pain and suffering, and you will pay for your actions.
Karina, please, listen to me. I'm grateful to him for taking such good care of me when he was alive, but now that he's gone, he can no longer help me. However, it doesn't seem like you'll continue to take care of me like he did. And even if you said you would do it, it would be of no use to me when the help is only for a couple of $1,000s.
Is that why you plan to swindle a large sum of money from a widow like me who lost her husband and is left alone with 2 daughters? I desperately wanted to trust you even when I was considering hiring an investigator just to make sure. But now I realize once again that you're nothing but a despicable piece of garbage. Your wife works hard. She wouldn't say no even to being a housekeeper to support herself and raise 3 kids in difficult circumstances. But instead of appreciating and supporting her, you have an affair with a young girl who's 10 years younger than you? That's quite a skill, having an affair when you're not financially established and completely broke. I guess the mistresses go through mating with any man regardless of their wealth or status these days, right? Don't you feel ashamed of your behavior toward your wife and 3 children? Your wife doesn't deserve this. She's nothing but faithful to you and your children.
How could you say such a vulgar word when you pretended to be elegant and graceful all the time? Did you say mating? What do you think we are? Are we animals or something?
Such ignorant and unpleasant remarks are things that even animals would find distasteful. Animals take care of their children and wife while you don't. Instead of appreciating and apologizing to your hardworking wife who sacrifices for you and your family, you betrayed her by cheating on her behind her back. It's the same with Brandon. He was a caring brother who took care of you even better than your parents all his life. But now he's gone. How dare you insult him by claiming that he has a daughter outside of his marriage? Did you think your lies would work for me because the deceased can't speak for themselves? How low of you to say such offensive lies as if they were true. How abhorrent of you when you're only worried if you won't receive financial support anymore when your brother passed away. You're worse than an animal. So please don't make derogatory comments about faithful animals.
No matter how angry you are, how could you say such disrespectful words to your brother-in-law? Is it okay for you to say whatever comes to your mind just because Brandon is no longer with us? Are you planning to sever ties with our family and say things like that to me? Is it okay for you just to act like this when his soul is still wandering in the afterlife? Aren't you afraid that he might get mad and haunt you for doing this to me? Since my brother cherished me so much, he probably wouldn't be pleased with you displaying such an attitude.
Well, you should be the one to face the consequences for daring to disguise your mistress as your late brother's daughter outside of his marriage. Seeing how you're saying whatever comes to your mind, it seems like you still have a long way to come back to your senses. Just so you know, I've handed over all the information I obtained by hiring a private investigator to Autumn, which I paid for, so be prepared. This is the most I can do to warn you in advance.
What the hell was that again? You handed my wife what? Why did you do that?
She's in a difficult financial situation and couldn't afford to conduct an investigation into her husband's suspicious behavior even if she wanted to. I empathized with her situation and offered to help by paying for the investigation myself. After conducting the investigation, I presented the findings to her, and she was incredibly grateful. She's a woman who constantly sacrifices herself for the sake of her husband and children, and her situation is truly heartbreaking to watch. Despite her own struggles, she remains determined to ensure the well-being of her family, which is a testament to her strength and resilience. As your wife, she has every right to know the truth about your behavior and the possible consequences it may have for her family. It was my pleasure to assist her in any way I could and provide her with the information she needed to make informed decisions for her future.
Are you insane? Why in the world did you tell her everything? I'm dating my girlfriend just for fun. I'm not planning to leave my wife and children or anything like that. Why did you have to make it worse by telling Autumn when I'm gonna leave my girlfriend when the time comes? You should have talked to me first.
Autumn is someone I look up to. She's older than me, but she always respects me as her older sister-in-law when not many people do that. As a fellow woman, it's truly disheartening to witness the way she's being treated. She makes sacrifices and dedications for the sake of her family, but to see her husband constantly having flings with other women is just unbearable. What I admired about her was her positive outlook on life and her constant efforts to live with a sense of optimism, even in the face of poverty. She possesses an outstanding personality, and I can't help but feel that she deserves better than to be dragged down by someone like you, a man who is both lowly and contemptible. It's incredibly sad to think about how her life is being held back by someone like you, and it's frustrating that you seem unable to comprehend the gravity of the situation. She has so much potential, and it's clear that she possesses the strength and willpower to overcome the challenges she's faced with. But to have to walk alongside someone like you is a terrible fate indeed, who is unworthy of her company as you're leading her down a path of misery. It's a shame you can't seem to understand how your actions are impacting her and the kind of life she could be living.
So what is she gonna do, huh? Do you think that she can make a living and raise 3 children by herself by being a housekeeper? Make sure to tell her to not be swayed by your strange brainwashing and to not regret divorcing me in the future. I'll put the food on the table for her and the children without asking for a divorce if she covers the information you handed her for me as if she hasn't seen them. Tell her to get onto her knees and beg me not to divorce her.
That's not going to happen. And it's certainly not true that she needs a husband like you to live a good life. She's more than capable of living a life without the worry and burden of an unnecessary relationship. As you may know, my family has a long-standing reputation for making exceptional Italian food. Both my grandmother and mother were renowned pizza and pasta makers who could whip up dishes like the ones in Iron Chef without a single lie. I also developed a passion for cooking and learned everything by watching my mother closely since I was very young. Even after getting married, I continued to visit my mother often to keep the traditional cooking techniques alive. But eventually I realized that I wanted to share my family's exceptional dishes made with my family's exclusive recipes with others. With Autumn's enthusiastic support, I've been working tirelessly for the past 3 months to prepare for the opening of my own restaurant, which is scheduled to launch next month. I'll be more than happy to hire her and offer her a generous salary that will enable her to provide for herself and her 3 children.
Karina, how could you do this to me? Strictly speaking, I'm your family, not her. You should help protect me if you want to help someone, not her, who is a perfect stranger to you.
That makes literally no sense. Both of you are my in-laws. You're the one who's not a single drop of blood relation to me. I'll take responsibility for Autumn and lead a good life for her who's taking care of my husband's nephews and nieces with great effort and diligence. On the other hand, the pathetic guy who cheats and deceives deserves to pay for his actions and should pay for his wife's alimony. You have caused her so much suffering for a long time, so please let her go.
No, I am never gonna divorce her. Divorcing her is only good for her, not me. She's gonna make a lot of money now, as you're gonna provide her with a comfortable life, and I need to be in it.
You never fail to disappoint as always, do you? I knew you'd do this. So I've gathered enough evidence of your infidelity by paying a lot of money. Let me remind you, even though you don't want to, you have no other choice but to go through with a divorce. Isn't it time for you to come to your senses?
Karina, listen to me. I won't stand by it. I'll fight at the court and do whatever it takes to keep my marriage.
After what happened, Autumn received alimony from her husband and finally divorced him. Now she works at my restaurant and makes a lot of money, and she's grateful to me for being able to take care of her 3 children much more comfortably than before. Although my husband left, I'm satisfied with my life where I raise my 2 daughters while doing what I want to do and helping out Autumn. According to what I heard from relatives, Jason was also dumped by his mistress and wandered for a few months with a sense of self-pity after the divorce. Eventually, he came to his senses through tearful appeals from his parents and now works in a 3-shift factory. He will have to live very hard to repay the debt he incurred due to alimony and support his 3 children. Although he suggested that they reconcile, Autumn firmly rejected him, saying that she's never been happier in her life and doesn't want to live a life of being manipulated by him again. I've always felt sorry for her because of her unstable husband who caused her mental and physical suffering. But now I'm so happy to see that she no longer needs to make unnecessary sacrifices and lives happily with her children. I wish for only joyful things to happen in her and my future. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe for more videos.
Melody, honey, did you already have dinner?
Yeah, I had mac and cheese, Mom. What about you? Did you eat dinner?
Oh, that sounds yummy. Yeah, I just finished eating dinner too. I ate spaghetti.
Oh, that sounds yummy too, Mom. I miss eating the food that you cook, Mommy.
I know you do, honey. I promise I'll cook some more for you soon, okay?
Okay. Guess what? I took a bath all by myself today.
No way, really? That's amazing, Melody. I can't believe you did it all by yourself. Although you're still only 10 years old, so I wouldn't mind it if someone was there to look after you, you know? But still, you're growing up to be such a big girl now. I'm so proud of you.
I'm going to be a big sister soon, so I have to know how to take baths all by myself. I'm going to teach the baby new things too.
Look at you. I'm so proud of you. You're going to be the best big sister ever. Hey, when Mommy comes back home, do you want to have a bath together, or do you want to have one all by yourself now?
Mom, I'm not a baby anymore. I can take one by myself now.
Aw, you're making me sad. I miss taking baths with you. Just this one time. For Mommy, please.
Okay, but it will be the last, Mommy. You're already 30 years old, but you still act like a little kid. You're so silly.
And you're only 10 years old, but you're like a grown-up lady already. And you're going to be the best big sister in the world.
Hey, Mom. Is the baby going to be a girl or a boy? You didn't tell me yet. I really want to know.
It's a surprise, honey. You have to wait until the baby is born to find out, okay?
That's no fair.
By the way, did Dad tell you that you two are coming to visit me this weekend?
Really? Are we going to see you, Mommy?
I don't get to see you anymore because I'm living with Grandma and Grandpa, but I miss you both so much. I wish you both would come to visit me more often.
Yeah, I miss you too, Mom. How long are you staying there for?
Well, it's going to be a really long time, honey. I wish I didn't have to stay here for so long because I miss you so much.
I want to see you too, Mom. I'm going to tell Dad I miss you so we can go visit you, so don't worry, Mommy.
Oh, will you? Will you really do that for Mommy?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, honey. By the way, are you being a good girl and listening to everything Daddy says?
Yeah, all the time, Mom.
Good. And is Daddy coming home early like he's supposed to?
Well, sometimes he comes home early and sometimes he's a little bit late, I guess.
Really? Well, if you ever get lonely, remember that you can always call me, okay?
Okay, but when Dad comes home late from work, I can watch YouTube.
Oh, I see. So it sounds like you prefer it when he comes home late.
I love YouTube though, Mom, so it's so funny and it makes me laugh all the time.
All right, well, just make sure you lock up all the doors until he gets home, okay?
Yeah, Mom.
How about tonight? Is he already home?
Not yet, Mom. He's late again.
Oh, no. Well, if Daddy isn't at home yet, how did you eat dinner earlier? You know, your mac and cheese?
I made the mac and cheese by myself. It's the one you can just put in the microwave. It's easy, Mom. I press the start button, and then I wait for 3 minutes, and then I wear the oven gloves and open the door and take it out and eat it.
Oh, I see. I'll talk to Daddy, and I'll tell him he needs to come home earlier for you, okay?
Okay, Mommy. I want to go watch TV now.
Okay. Is it the Telly Buddies? Well, try not to watch too much TV, okay?
Yes, Mommy.
Hey, Eric, what happened?
What happened with what?
I thought you were supposed to come and visit me this weekend. Melody just told me that you're not coming here anymore.
Something came up at work. Sorry about that.
Well, why didn't you tell me earlier?
I thought I did. I texted you, didn't I? What else was I supposed to do? I had to rush to the office.
Okay, but I was really looking forward to seeing you and Melody today. My parents were looking forward to it too. My mom even said that she was happy to go over there to pick her up. You could have let her do that.
It was really short notice, so I didn't even have time to plan anything out. But anyways, sorry about that, okay? How are you doing anyway? Your due date is soon, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, but I still want to see you and Melody. I miss you guys a lot.
You don't have to worry about a thing. We're doing just great over here. When you have the baby, you'll come home and everything will be fine.
Well, I was talking to Melody the other day and she sounded like she was kind of lonely. Didn't you promise me that you won't work overtime until I got back home from my parents' house? Don't you think you've been leaving her at home by herself too much?
It's not that much. It's just a couple times a week, if anything. Besides, she's a big girl. She knows how to take care of herself.
I only went back home to my parents because you promised you would be back home early from work every day. Melody's still just 10 years old. It's bad enough that you leave her at home during the day, but I'd really like it if you would be at home with her at least at night. If you absolutely have to stay late at work, you can ask your mom to stay with her until you get back.
Look, everything's all right. Trust me, okay? You're worrying too much, Amy.
Of course I'd worry. I'm about to have my second child, so I'd appreciate it if you took better care of Melody.
She's doing her best to take care of herself because she wants to be a good big sister. I'm still watching over her, but she doesn't even want me to pick out her clothes anymore. She keeps saying that she has to grow up more before the baby comes. So why don't we just let her be, yeah? Besides, if she learns to be more independent, isn't that easier for you? You remember how difficult it is to take care of a newborn, don't you? You know it's a fact that you probably won't be able to give Melody as much attention as before.
I suppose. I still want her to take her time to grow up, though. I don't want her to grow up too fast, you know?
Amy, I understand what you mean, but you don't need to stress yourself, all right? Stress isn't good for the baby, is it? Just relax and let everything take its own course.
Are you sure you're not leaving her to eat mac and cheese every day or anything, are you? I know that there's not much you can do about work getting busy, but just think about Melody a little bit more, okay? That's all I'm asking.
Okay, you have a point. I'll make sure I cook proper meals for her, okay? Okay, listen, I need to answer this call from work. I'll talk to you later, okay? Love you.
Love you too. I'm counting on you to take care of Melody, okay? Melody, it's Mommy. I'm really sorry I didn't answer your calls. My tummy started hurting and I had to go to the hospital. I'll be going to Grandpa and Grandma's house soon, so I'll call you later, okay?
Your tummy hurts? Are you okay, Mommy?
Everything's fine, honey. I just have to rest for a little bit, that's all.
Okay, that's good.
So what did you want to talk about? You already had dinner and you had your bath, right?
No, Mommy, I'm hungry.
What?
I made mac and cheese again, but it was too hot when I took it out the microwave and I accidentally dropped it. I'm hungry.
You're going to eat mac and cheese again? Where's Daddy? Is he at home?
No, he's not here. He's still at work.
Okay, well listen, there should be more microwavable food in the pantry. It's on the bottom shelf. Go there and tell me what you see.
Mommy, I know about those, but I already ate them.
All of them? Melody, there were plenty for like 2 weeks.
It's empty, Mommy. There's nothing on that shelf.
Oh my god. Okay, well, how about a cup of instant noodles in the kitchen cupboard? You know, the one under where the knives and forks are? Go and check to see if that's there and you can have that. You know how to boil the kettle, right?
Sorry, Mommy. I ate that too.
OMG, what? Melody, have you been eating nothing but microwave food and instant noodles all this time? Hasn't Daddy cooked for you?
He does sometimes.
Honey, even if Daddy didn't cook for you, I made sure that I bought enough food before I left. I don't understand. Melody, honey, be honest with Mommy, okay? What's going on there?
I'm sorry, Mommy. I lied.
Huh? About what? What's wrong?
The truth is that Daddy's never at home. He always comes home really late, and there are some days where he doesn't even come home at all. He only comes home when it's time for us to call you on FaceTime, but then he leaves right after that.
Melody. Oh my God, is that true? So have you been at home by yourself this entire time?
Yeah. Daddy says it's better if I learn how to do things by myself because I'm gonna be a big sister. I pinky promised him that I wouldn't tell you because he didn't want you to worry about me. He said you were having a bad time with the new baby.
Really? Oh my God. Melody, you don't deserve this. You've been such a good girl and Mommy didn't know.
But Daddy hasn't come back home since the day before yesterday. He gave me $10, but I already used all of it at the corner store.
For 2 days? And you went to the store all by yourself? What if you get... Never mind. That is not acceptable. Mommy is very angry with Daddy. Melody, you did a great job, okay? But no more going to the stores. Mommy will sort this out.
I haven't eaten anything since last night. I'm sorry. I wasted the money. I used it to buy candy and toys, but I didn't buy any food.
Melody, you don't have to be sorry about anything, okay? You didn't do anything wrong, baby. How about this? Do you want to come and live with me for a bit? With Grandma and Grandpa, too?
Really? I have school tomorrow, though.
It'll be fine. I miss you so much, and Grandma's going to make a lot of yummy food. I can't wait to see you, baby. Grandpa is on his way to pick you up, okay? I'll let you know when he's close by, so open the door when I say it's okay, okay? But keep the door locked until Mommy says you can open it, okay?
Okay, Mommy. I can't wait to see you again.
You'll be staying with us for a little bit, so you can pack a bag with you, PJs and some clothes. Don't forget your toothbrush and your homework, okay? Can you do that for Mommy?
Yeah, I can do that. I'll go and pack now into my unicorn backpack, Mom.
That's my girl. Tell you what, we'll order a pizza for when you get here. How does that sound?
Yay! I can't wait!
Oh, sorry, I was sleeping. I didn't mean to miss your calls. Is everything okay? How are you feeling?
You were asleep? At home?
Yes, of course. Where else? You kept yelling at me about it, so I've been coming home earlier like you told me to.
Oh, okay. What about Melody? How is she?
She's already in bed. You should know what time she goes to bed, right? I make sure I tuck her in bed early so that she can get plenty of sleep.
Sure. Are you being honest with me, Eric?
You worry too much, Amy. I'm telling you everything is fine here. I'll take Melody with me when we visit you on your due date. That's in a couple of days, right?
That's funny because Melody is here with me right now.
Huh? Melody's with you? Oh, what do you mean? What's going on?
My dad went and picked her up 3 hours ago, and he said nobody was home but Melody.
What? Why?
I'm the one that should be asking the questions here. Where have you been staying all this time? Where are you right now?
Oh man, listen, Amy. Work has just been so busy. I haven't been at home as much as I should be, and I didn't tell you because I figured you'd get mad at me again if you knew.
So what? So you lied to me? So you left our 10-year-old kid all by herself at home? Are you friggin' kidding me? Eric, you have a lot of explaining to do. Go on, explain yourself.
Wait, but what about school? She has school in the morning.
Never mind that for now. You need to tell me why you left our child at home alone and unfed.
What?
Melody told me everything. She said you haven't been home since the day before yesterday. Is that correct?
Oh, right, yeah. Look, I was called in for work, you know?
At the weekend? You don't work on the weekends.
They had an emergency and needed me to come in. I can't control the things that happen at work.
You never worked on weekends, though, ever. What's with the sudden change?
Yeah, I know. That's why I was so confused when they called me in. I didn't have a choice, though. One of our best co-workers just quit.
Uh-huh. Well, if it's work, then why are you at a beach resort? I'd love to hear what business an IT company would have there.
A beach resort? What are you talking about?
I got a notice that says you paid toll on the highway. What's that all about? You've been using the car, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I need to use the car for work. I just had a business trip and I had to go past the tolls for it.
Okay, if that's true, then I'd suppose that you wouldn't have a problem with me calling your office to confirm that there was a business trip. No objections, right? I can ask them that first thing tomorrow.
Wait, no, don't do that. Please.
Why not?
You don't need to make such a big deal out of this. It's not that serious, is it? You don't want to bother people at my work with our family issues, right? Let's not get them involved.
What? You gave your 10-year-old daughter $10 and left her alone in the house for days? That's pretty serious in my books. Don't screw with me, Eric.
Amy, I am so sorry about that. It won't happen again.
So, who did you go with? Don't try and tell me you went to a beach resort by yourself, because I won't buy it for a second.
But I did go by myself. I needed to clear my mind for a bit, so I booked a little weekend getaway for myself. What is wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? Are you crazy? Who did you go with?
It was just me, I swear.
Well, I can just check our bank statements and clear that up myself then.
No.
No what?
Amy, okay, fine. I went with my friend. I went with Max. You know Max, right? We just went on a boys' trip.
Well, if that were true, then you should have just said that in the first place. And yes, I do know Max. Maybe I'll give him a call and he can tell me about your little boys' trip together then.
Amy, why do you have to do this? It's not necessary, okay?
Then you better be ready for the consequences.
What consequences? Look, okay, fine. I'll tell you the truth, the whole truth. Just promise you won't freak out, okay?
Go on then, let's hear it.
I met a girl on this dating app, okay?
I see. And what?
And you know, I'm sorry, okay?
Well, that settles it then.
Okay, how?
We're getting divorced.
Wait, no, come on. Aren't you being a little bit harsh here? You can't just break up with me like that. I was just having a bit of fun. I needed a break.
You needed a break? Were you the one who was carrying a whole human being inside of you and you're telling me that you need a break?
Well, I mean, she just said she wanted a friend to go with her to the resort, so I volunteered. That's all. A quick, short vacation.
And you think you're the one who needs a vacation. Leaving a kid at home? This isn't something out of a Home Alone movie, you know. This is real.
I know. I see that now.
What the heck is wrong with you, Eric? Seriously, what the hell do you think you're doing to our daughter? Look, I don't care about the cheating anymore. You cheat all you want, but leaving Melody to starve like that is child neglect and child abuse.
That's not true. I gave her money to buy food.
You thought she would be able to survive for 3 whole days on $10? That would mean you expected her to use $1 per meal. And what if she got kidnapped on the way to the corner store? We're lucky she didn't. But if she did, then that would have been all on you.
Well, good thing she wasn't, okay?
Melody didn't even know that you'd be gone for 3 days. She didn't even know what to get herself. That was your job, to feed her properly.
But there were, like, microwave meals and stuff in the house, right?
She told me she ate those whenever you'd come home late from work. They're all gone. You didn't even think about that, though, did you? You figured that since I bought a ton of groceries before I left for my parents' house, everything would be fine. But you forgot that the groceries would eventually run out, didn't you? How stupid can you be?
I'm sorry.
Apologizing won't do or change anything. It's too late for that. I want a divorce.
Wait, no. That's going too far. We can't get a divorce. I wasn't in a serious relationship with that girl anyways.
Like I said, the cheating isn't the problem here. I'm angry at how you treated Melody. You put her in serious danger.
Did I? I think you're overreacting, Amy. Come on. She's alive and fine now, isn't she?
Well, let me sum it up for you, you dumb twat. First, you convinced a 10-year-old to learn to be independent by taking baths alone, cooking microwave meals alone. Second, you taught her to lie to me about you coming home early. Third, you made her go to the corner store all by herself at the risk of kidnap. And that was because you hadn't fed her properly at home, when you should have. And to think that you left a child at risk so you could go and cheat on me? No woman in their right mind would stay married to a man like that.
You're about to have another baby. I just wanted to have a little fun before the baby was born. This was a mistake, I admit it. I promise I won't do it again. Come on, Amy. Won't you forgive me just this one time?
This one time, huh? You might have starved for just this one time, but you left her alone in the house more than once. You can't leave a little girl in the house by herself, and especially at night. What if something really bad happened to her? What would you have done?
Something really bad? Like what? She knows to lock the doors at night. Nobody's gonna kidnap her or anything.
I taught her to never use the stove when adults aren't around, but there's still a chance she could have. What if she burned herself, or even set something on fire by accident? Or what if someone else found out that she was left in the house by herself? You think a locked door is going to stop a kidnapper? Or what if a neighbor found out and called the police? Did you even think about that?
Well, none of that happened, did it? There was actually a pretty low chance it would have happened. We live in a safe neighborhood. Come on.
I'm not talking about the chances of it happening. I'm saying the possibility is still there. We're her parents. We're supposed to protect her no matter what. That's our job. But you don't care about that, do you? I can't even imagine how you think that that's okay.
But people leave their kids at home alone at night anyway, right? Things like this happen all the time. Don't you think you're being a little overprotective?
I'm not talking about other people. The only reason why I decided to go back to my parents' house was because you promised that you'd come home early every day. But you took advantage of me not being there and went out to sleep with another girl. We don't need someone like you in our lives.
Amy, I'm sorry. I really messed up.
Don't apologize to me. Apologize to Melody. I'll get back to you regarding our divorce.
Wait, I swear I won't cheat anymore, and I won't leave Melody at home alone anymore. Oh, please, just trust me. Oh, come on. We've been doing so well up until now. What's a little bump like this to us, huh? We can get over it, right?
You just proved to me that I can't trust you anymore. You've completely betrayed my trust. We spent years building this family and relationship, and you just destroyed all of it. All you care about is yourself. I can't trust you to take care of my children anymore. Goodbye. After that, Eric drove all the way to my parents' house where I was staying with Melody. He went down on his hands and knees and begged for us to forgive him. Of course, none of us did, not even Melody, although I could tell that she felt bad for her daddy feeling upset, but still, I wasn't going to let her feel sorry for him. We checked his phone after to find out some hard truths. It turns out he's been on dating apps and lying about being married to me ever since I got pregnant with our second baby. So he's been cheating on me much longer than I thought, almost for 9 months. How pathetic. I just lost the last bit of empathy I had for that man, and I feel nothing for him now. He kept begging me not to divorce him up until the very last second, but I ignored him. Shortly after that day, I went into labor and I safely gave birth to a baby girl. So Melody will have a little sister to take care of now. Once the divorce has settled and I get child support for both of my babies, I'm considering to move out of my parents' place and get our own little house somewhere in the suburbs. I allow him to see Melody and the baby once a month, but sometimes Melody doesn't even want to see him, which is great for me. I thought Melody would be really sad about the divorce, but it seems that she's old enough to understand that he did a really bad thing. I've been trying to spend as much time with her so I can make her feel better too. I promise to never make my children feel sad or lonely ever again, and I'll do whatever it takes to give them the love and care that they need for the rest of my life. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe for more.